Greetings, Earth Stars. Eliane Henry here, your astrologer and tarot reader. And now I am going to do the new moon of Leo video. And the new moon of Leo emerges exact at 6:50 a.m. Sunday, August 8th on the West Coast. In Los Angeles at 6:50 a.m. Definitely adjust the time zone for wherever you are. Happy new moon of Leo. New moons are incredibly rich and fertile soil to plant the seeds of intention that we want to manifest in our lives. And for the Leo new moon, the big themes are around our heart and our heart's desires, and really tuning into that heart center and reflecting on what it is that, what are your deepest heart's desires, because within them lie clues about our karma and our dharma. And so the Leo new moon invites us to really tune into that heart center, and then to write down intentions based on what we find there. And so yeah, tomorrow morning with the new moon at 6:50 a.m., it's a great time to sit down and write with real specificity. What are your heart's desires? What is the vision for the future? Leo rules how we shine in the world, and how we express ourselves as an individual in the world. Also, Leo themes are around children. So if you want to set any intentions around children, Leo is a good time to do that as well. Leo also rules creativity. And so it's a great time to set intentions around creative self-expression of any kind. Also, look to the house that Leo rules in your chart, because that will show where this Leo new moon is really personal for you, because for the collective, it's the Leo new moon, but then where it shows up in our personal natal charts shows where it's going to express for us, where this new start is emerging in our life around Leo themes. And the things that are, what makes this Leo new moon of 2021 unique is that it is kind of igniting that Saturn-Uranus square that is such a distinguishing characteristic of the year of 2021. And if you watched my 2021 year forecast that I published in December of 2020, you know that I talked about this Saturn-Uranus square and how these two planets are holding each other all year in this square. Even though there are three exact alignments, one in February, one happened in June, and then the third one is in December, these two planets are really, holding each other all of this year and well into 2022 as well. And what that means for the collective has to do with, the sudden collapse of structures, political and economic destabilization, food destabilization, a real need to restructure. And it's also about the old versus the new, and progressive ideals versus conservative ideals, the rebels and the disruptors versus the establishment and the old guard and the old way of doing things. And so there's many different expressions of the archetype of Saturn and Uranus holding each other. And I think that we've lived enough of this year now to really be able to see how much of a characteristic that has been for the collective, true to the astrology. And then, we're all under the same sky. And so it's manifesting in our personal lives in varying ways, these big changes. And so in our own lives, we're looking at, where are there structures that need to come down? Where do we need to restructure? Whether that's around our actual bodies and health, or our finances, or our physical home, or, there's different areas in life, depending on who we are, that need the restructuring. And you can really look at your natal chart to see. And it's kind of like, we don't really have a choice at this point. What's happening in the world is causing us to restructure. That's what I love about astrology. It's always showing what the collective experience is and how that relates to us all personally, because we are all one, you know? And yeah, so basically this new moon is squaring Uranus, and Uranus is the planet of, you know, Uranus is the disruptor, the rebel, but Uranus can also be very revelatory and very inventive and thinking out of the box and coming up with, you know, bright new inventive solutions to old problems. So there's that side of Uranus too, but you know, Saturn is the new moon, it hit the opposition with Saturn on Friday night during the balsamic moon, which is the dark of the moon, right before the new moon. And so that was a real line, drawing a line in the sand in whatever area of that your life that opposition was taking place. And then Uranus kind of brings in that wild card or that plot twist or that shakeup or that out of the box idea or that sudden revelation that is creating a new path to the future. And the new moon gives us an opportunity to have just really mindful intention around that new path to the future. And, you know, what are our heart's desires? That's what Leo asks us. And then, you know, the Aquarian opposition that was hit, you know, coming into this and we've been dealing with in the past couple of weeks is really a lot about, you know, the individual versus the group and the individual versus society and, you know, the individual versus the family or, you know, whatever larger group that we're part of. And what our needs and wants and desires are versus what is for the good of the group and what is for the good of the collective. And these kinds of themes are being called into question for all of us. And we're having to make some decisions based on that. And another thing about this new moon period that's going on is the Venus-Neptune opposition. And I'm going to talk more about that in my weekly forecast for the week of Monday, August 9th through Sunday, August 15th. But I do want to just say that Venus is the planet of love and beauty, also the planet of art, can be money. Neptune is, by modern astrologers, often called the higher octane of Venus. Neptune is an outer planet and slow moving. I consider it to be very sublime in its energy and its effect. The Venus opposition to Neptune archetype, I think of rose-colored shades, and maybe they're coming off because it's the opposition, maybe, but Venus opposing Neptune can be deception or confusion around love or finances. It's not the best aspect to meet a new romance under. It can indicate gullibility in romance or finance. If you're meeting someone online, for instance, I would consider this like a catfish aspect, where maybe, you know, like their photo or description is not going to be reality necessarily once you see them in person. This can also be an aspect of martyrdom or sacrifice, Neptune opposing Venus. It can be, it's not the best aspect for making investments, certainly. It's great for, what is it great for? It's great for painting, it's great for composing, it's great for poetry, those kinds of transcendental artistic types of artistic expressions. And it can be great for transcendental spiritual experiences as well through, you know, meditation or deep devotional ritual. It can be great for transcendental sexual experiences, although again, not the best for if you're meeting someone for the first time. There can be deception or illusion around it, even though there can also be strong magnetism and chemistry around it. Yeah, there can be a real, like with Venus and Neptune, a getting lost in the sensual pleasures or getting lost in a spiritual experience. And so it's a sublime energy that should be handled with care. And what else? I will talk more about that again on my week preview video, but I just wanted to touch on it because it is happening at the same time as the new moon of Leo. But yeah, the new moon again is really about planting those seeds of intention that we want to manifest. And new moons are planting the seeds of intention for the 2-week cycle, which is new moon to full moon, but also the entire new moon cycle, which is the month and new moon to new moon. And also, you know, the year cycle, which is this Leo new moon to next year's Leo new moon. And then there's the 2.5-year cycle, which is the complete, you know, lunar return. So think in terms of like, you know, the intentions you set now can both be short term, but also longer term. And yeah, I don't know. I guess that's kind of what I said. If you're interested in knowing more about where this Leo new moon is emerging in your personal chart, or you would like to work with me on setting your intentions or on your altar, please feel free to contact me by hitting the button, the contact button underneath my profile bio. But yeah, have a wonderful new moon of Leo, and talk to you soon. Look out for my August 9th through August 15th weekly update coming up next. Bye.